Hey guys, welcome back to the Pruning Podcast. I'm your host, Ataya Smith, and I just pray y'all are having a great Tuesday. I just know it's gonna get a whole lot better. This is like the 10th episode on the Pruning Podcast, which is crazy. Like, I cannot believe I've been through 10 episodes, and then we're already in November, so what better way to start my birthday month than being on the 10th episode? So since it's my birthday, my favorite topic is relationships. Like, I love relationships. I am a romantic. I used to say I'm a hopeless romantic, but I'm not hopeless. So I'm just a romantic. I love love and I love stories. And so I really wanted to do like a spin-off of Ben Stewart's book, Single, Dating, Engaged, Married. And so last week y'all heard from Riley and Junior on like the single season. This week y'all are hearing from Kennedy and Hebert on the dating season, and then I have other people for the engaged and married season. So I'm so excited, and Kennedy and Hebert, introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Kennedy.
I'm Hebert.
Yeah. So, I knew Kennedy. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
I think
I met you when you were like in 7th grade.
Yes, I was really little.
Yeah.
I was come a long way. And then I left David Thibodeau after 8th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was there for like a year.
Yeah.
And I went to Southside, which is way better in my opinion. But yeah, so how did y'all two come together, I guess? My first question would be.
You want to tell the story? Or you want me to tell the story?
You can tell the story.
Well, we met so we had a bunch of classes together in high school, but we didn't start talking until like senior year.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
But didn't you have a boyfriend in high school?
Mm-hmm. And then we broke up and then we started talking.
Yeah. So, wait, how long have y'all been dating?
We've been dating 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
3.5. It's coming up on 3.5 years.
So y'all are getting married. Are y'all gonna get married soon?
Are we gonna get married soon?
We're working on it.
We're gonna get married.
We're gonna get married soon.
Okay, so how has dating been? What's been like struggles and like advantages and struggles?
Advantages, I would say it's like a built-in best friend that I
Aw,
can just
so
talk
sweet.
to all the time about everything that he doesn't want to hear or wants to hear. Struggles, we honestly don't have that many struggles. I'm being for real. We don't really fight.
Dang, that's
I know.
great.
That's how I know like he's the one.
Yeah.
We never fight. Even
Yeah.
after 3.5 years. But like, yeah.
I don't have any,
There you go.
struggles. I don't think there are any advantages. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love her. So
that's so sweet. Gotcha. So I know I was in 7th grade, so I didn't really know you, I guess. So were you Christian? And I don't want to say Christian, but were you living for God?
Yeah, I have been going to church since I was born, but I didn't really get close to him until my senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm. What church you went to?
Back then it was a Church of Christ church, and now I'm at the same church as you. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a big difference.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Is Church of Christ Catholic?
No, it's more like a Baptist almost, but it's they don't do band and all. It's just singing with your voices. So
Gotcha.
it's a big difference.
So that brought you to one church.
Yeah.
Great to know. So you've been knowing of Christ, and in 12th grade you went back to church, right? You said.
Well, I've always been to church. I just didn't really read my Bible or pray.
But
as
12th grade
much.
you took it really seriously.
Yeah,
So would you say you gave your life back to God, or do you think you?
I've always God has always had my life. It's just I think I started taking it a little bit more seriously, especially after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So, I grew up going to Catholic church until I was around 12 years old. After that, I didn't go to church until I started talking to her.
No.
After we started dating, it was around June?
Yeah.
Around June, we started going to church with them, and then there.
Right. So, yeah, I feel would you say that God is a pure foundation in relationships?
Oh, for sure. For 100%.
So do you think how were y'all dating whenever you started going to church?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all
Yeah.
been dating?
Yeah.
So how was walking that out, I guess? How was bringing someone who never went to church because he didn't grow he went to church when he was younger. So how was that stage of the relationship, I guess?
Well, I was a little scared at first because I'm just grew up Catholic, so I was like, okay, is he even gonna like this type of style of church? So, but my thing is like, if we're in a relationship, like you have to either be going to a church or come to church with me.
Yeah.
So, it's like one of my.
So what if he would have been like, no?
Like, okay, well, bye.
Yeah.
That's just like one of
'Cause I know
things on my list. I'm like,
exactly.
okay, I have to do.
Yeah. And I know some people, like, it can be like you step into a relationship with someone and y'all been dating for so long, like 6+ years, and it's like you learn God, you learn to know who God is, and then they're like, yeah, that's not me. And so it's like so many people just compromise, and it's like, it's fine, like, my faith is enough. But that's so good, like, y'all both been
And
church
he knew,
people.
like, when we started talking before we dated, he knew, like, church was important. So he's like, okay, like, eventually I'm going to have to go to church. So it was kind of always, like, in the air.
Yeah.
You don't really have a choice.
Yeah. Do you enjoy our church?
Almost definitely.
It's the best. I
I
love my church. I've been there for 19 years.
Oh, wow.
I've
I
been
did
there
not know
my
that.
whole life. I've been at that church.
I did not know that.
And it's just been like a foundation in my life. Like, people can say what they want. Like, we've had our things, but like, our church is church, and our church family is family.
And we've only been going almost, I think, a year. I think we've been
Oh,
here,
wow.
like, in December.
And y'all are like so
church.
connected.
I know. I love it.
And everyone's so welcoming. The worship is so good. And so I know, like, whenever I saw you, I was like,
Yeah.
and then I saw Sadie come for a little bit. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, what a small world. Like, she's coming to my church.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, guys, okay, so I asked y'all, how did y'all come to Christ, and how has the faith journey shaped your relationship? So how and when did y'all know to, like, create boundary in y'all's relationships, and what difference has healthy boundaries made for y'all?
Do you want to answer?
Yeah. So, it was about maybe a year ago. It's been about a little over a year since we started. We've always had boundaries.
Yeah.
But we've gotten a little stricter on our boundaries a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
What was the other part of the question?
Like, what difference has that made in y'all's relationships, and like, what kind of boundaries did y'all have, I guess? Like, what are
kind of
healthy boundaries?
So, being that I didn't grow up in church like she did,
Yeah.
I already knew coming into it, I'm not getting in between her and her relationship with God. That's number one.
Yeah.
It's always been number one. So that's always been kind of like a boundary, knowing that I didn't have the background that she has.
Yeah.
For one. But, she's pure and I'm pure. So that's one thing that we value very much in each other. And yeah, I love that very much.
That's so good. So, like, I guess what would be like some like examples of boundaries? Like, what are healthy boundaries in relationships, and what are like not healthy? Like, some people would be like, healthy boundaries are like staying at someone's house till midnight, going to his apartment, staying at someone's house till midnight, which that leaves room for opportunity. Some would be like, being his parent, like being his mom, stuff like that.
I think you should stay, a lot of people are like, oh, how far can I go until I cross the line? I always think it's how far can you stay, like, away from the line? Like, you want to stay as pure as possible. And like, for us in the beginning, we would do some stuff that like we don't do anymore, and it wasn't like bad. It was just, we used to like make out, and now it's like, okay, making out with the other stuff, so like we don't really make out anymore.
Yeah, like, because most people are like, that's not bad, but it's like, when you cross that line, it's like, then it's like, it gives the room for it, like, room for the enemy to be like, it's fine.
And that's kind of like, we've set like stricter boundaries, and we've never really crossed any big lines, but like we don't have sleepovers, which is like a big thing.
I know. So many of my friends, they're like, like, wait. I was like, oh wow, like.
And if he does sleep over, it's like, I still live with my parents, so it's like he sleeps in like our little extra room by himself, and it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good, because I feel like boundaries are a big thing. Like, especially in dating, like, engaged and married, that's like different factors, but like, especially in dating, like, you have to have your boundaries in place, especially if you want to like stay like pure, and you want to stay like the, like the man of God, and if you want to pertain your relationship. Like, 'cause if you don't have boundaries, then it's like, even like personal boundaries, like even like boundaries of what is too far to say, or like when it's too far is too far. And I guess my other question would be like, do y'all have boundaries with like other people, I guess?
Not really. I don't think so. But like, You mean like family, like his family, my family, or just
like
in general?
like hanging out with friends, like if he hangs out with a girl, like not a girl one-on-one, but like a group of girls, or you hang out with like a group of
we don't really do that. Like if we
Yeah.
do, it's more of like we're together. It's like okay, he has guy friends. It's like okay, them and them girlfriends.
Yeah.
We don't really do. It's like him and a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
Just because like the way it looks. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want it to look a certain way either.
That's good. Yeah, I just feel like boundaries are such an important thing.
It is.
Most people don't have boundaries. They just don't care. Like you just date. And
Yeah.
it's like you're just dating, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. Okay, so how did you ensure that your relationship was moving at God's pace and not according to your own? And I guess that would be a question for you, Hebert, because y'all are like 3.5 years in dating, and it's like most people like want to get married by now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure y'all want to get married, but like,
yeah.
So I guess we could stay on this marriage topic. It's a good example of it. So how long have we been talking about this?
We've been talking, so I think the first time we brought up marriage, we were like, I think a year in. So we've been really seriously talking about it for like 2 years. And
So yeah, it's been about 2 years we've been talking about it.
oh,
Like,
wow.
we both agree, we both want to get married.
Yeah.
And she's a little impatient sometimes,
Okay.
but I keep telling her at God's time, it'll happen.
Exactly.
When it's time, it'll happen.
Yeah.
So I just keep telling her that. She keeps pushing this. She said, it'll happen. It'll happen.
That's good, because it's like so many people, I feel like rush to that stage.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I like how like y'all are enjoying dating, because once
we
you're
are.
dating, you don't go like you're not gonna go back.
And like a year ago, I was like, everyone's getting married, everyone's having babies. Like, when is it my turn? Like, we've been dating longer than these people. When is
Yeah,
it my turn? And
exactly.
sometimes I still get like that, and then he has to look at me and be like, God's timing, not ours.
Exactly.
But it's just, I mean, we've been together forever. Can we just get married? But you know, it's not my will.
That's good though, like because I know for me, I would have been like, it's time.
Oh yeah.
It's time. I'm so ready. Like let's go. But it's good to like move at God's pace and not our own, because sometimes what we think is better for us, then God's like, no, like you don't need that right now. Like enjoy the season and then like engage.
Yeah.
Like are y'all gonna like be engaged for a long time, you think?
We don't know. I don't think so.
It's
I think it's like we've been dating so long. It's like we already know,
Yeah.
and I kind of already know what I want for the wedding anyway.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think it'll be
Yeah.
maybe a year.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe not even a year.
Yeah. I just think it's very vital to, I guess, enjoy those seasons. And that's good that y'all are, because y'all one of the longest dating couples I know. I'm like,
I know.
3.5 years.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. So
I know.
y'all were dating senior year of high school?
Yeah.
So y'all been out of high school for 3.5 years?
I know, and I don't believe that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just in high school. I
I
think
feel like I was
this
just in
next
high
year
school.
makes 2 years I've been graduated. I'm like, what? Like, I just went to school. Okay, so can we dive into what setting and respecting boundaries looks like in a Christian relationship? How can it lead to greater mutual respect? So it's kind of like the boundaries question, but like dive into like if you're Christian dating, like what are boundaries like you need to have?
I think like the kissing and stuff, that's like boundary number one.
Yeah.
And to set up sleeping over is another, because that's just an easy like open door. You can just be like, oh, we're both sleeping, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna sleep in the same bed. Okay, that's just like,
Yeah.
you're really just like pushing the line.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, then,
I think so. I think just mainly knowing and being on the same page about where God stands in your relationship.
Yeah.
Making sure that He stays number one between both of you.
Yeah.
Each remain number two.
Yeah.
Because if you make sure that He's number one, that leaves no room for anything else.
Yeah. That's good. And so like, do y'all have any spiritual boundaries, I guess, I would wonder? Like, do y'all do devotionals together?
we do. We have like a little devotional book he got us for Christmas.
Oh, that's
So we
so
do that as
sweet.
often as we can. Probably need to do it a little bit more than we do.
Yeah.
But we pray together and go to church together.
Yeah.
So, and then we usually have Bible study at my house, like my whole family, and he usually comes down
Oh, that's
too.
so sweet. Yeah. So mainly like, I guess mainly like the boundary would be like the kissing things. I feel like with that, one thing leads to the next.
Yeah.
And then like, do y'all have any, I don't know if you have like really close friends, but I know I have really close friends and they're like very opinionated. And so sometimes they'll like tell me things like if I'm dating someone, they'll be like, I don't like to tell you, like, I don't like
Yeah.
what he's doing. Like, you shouldn't be like, do you have boundaries when it comes to friends speaking into your relationship, I guess?
I personally like would set up. We don't have any friends that are like, oh, they do this, like they kind of like give their opinion on a relationship. I think it is good to have boundaries when your friends try to come to you because they don't know like the person you see versus what they see. Like they might just see like 2 minutes of the situation.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm with this person.
Yeah.
And you're not. So.
Yeah. That's good, guys. How do y'all handle like disagreements and like conflicts in y'all's relationship while like prioritizing like God, like not letting your feelings get the best of you, I guess? Like, how do you, I guess, have disagreements the right way instead of just yelling at each other? And
You definitely have to be slow to anger.
yeah,
That's definitely number one. And just talk it out. There's no need to get angry with the other person. Just talk it out.
Yeah.
That's how we settle things. We always talk it out.
yeah,
And it's done nothing but good to us.
yeah. And so I know this is like an off-topic question, but I just thought about it. So for you, Hebert, so you didn't go to church, right? Like your young adult life. And so like obviously I would think that like when you came to church you were still like battling things like mentally and spiritually.
Mm.
And so like do you think like did you have to overcome that in order to maintain your healthy relationship? Or like how did you handle like, you know, your I don't want to say mental health issues, but like your issues that you were bringing to God while you're in a relationship? Because most people, it's like deal with all your stuff before you get in a relationship, you know. But how did you like handle that the right way? Obviously, if y'all still together while getting in a relationship.
I didn't really have any past trauma or I mean what would you call it, baggage, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any of that before we got into our relationship. So I really think that and knowing that God was number one in her life.
Yeah.
And knowing that if we were to stay together, he'd have to be number one in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she's the reason why I went to church.
Yeah.
Because I always knew there's a man upstairs.
Yeah.
But as I kept going to church, like I just felt something.
Yeah.
And that just made me want to go even more and more.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the good thing because I feel like most women drag men to church and they're like, I don't want to be here. And it's a different thing of I just don't know about God. Like I haven't heard about him. Like, oh my gosh, like I needed this. Thank you for this. Like God puts people in your life for that reason. But at the end of the day, you can't make a man change, like want to go to Jesus. Like he has to want it on his own or he won't know how to love you. And I guess that's a perfect representation of I go to church faithfully every Sunday because if I don't know the Father of love, how can I love her? You know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good. So can we talk about the importance of patience and trusting God's timing, whether it's waiting for marriage, careers, or other personal growth areas?
I'm not gonna lie, I struggle with patience in the beginning, and he is so patient.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm like being sassy and not having it. He is very patient, and I think God knew I could get someone like that.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't patient, it would not go well.
Yeah. Okay, what?
Yeah.
It's good. Any like career goals you have to be
Maybe
or like
his
other
career
things?
goals.
Yeah, I
I think
can
it's
talk about my
mostly
career goals.
his career goals because his school takes longer. So I'm kind of like, I already graduated, he still has like 2 more years.
Oh, you're in
like,
college?
Yeah, he's
And
in
you got a
college.
job?
He's like an intern right now at the place he wants to work at. So I'm like, can you graduate already?
Yeah.
So I can like get this going. But
When do you graduate?
Hopefully 2.5 years, 2 years.
yeah, yeah.
So don't tell me you waiting that long to propose. No, okay.
I'm not. We've already talked about it.
But one thing about my career is it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It takes a lot of time and effort, but I was set back a year or two because of a few classes that I failed. They only offer them like it takes passing one class to go to the next.
Yeah.
I passed those. I failed 2 of those.
Yeah.
And that set me back. So I had to be very patient. It hurts knowing I have to be patient.
Yeah, it sucks.
Get set back, but
Yeah.
I know God has a plan for me, so
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah. And I even know for Kennedy, I understand the waiting season sucks. Like hate waiting. I hate waiting. I hate waiting. Like, I don't like waiting for things. I just want it to happen. But it's like, God, how can I be intentional in this place, in this season you put me in? You know, that's the question I'll always have to remind myself of, because in the end, when y'all get married, you'll be like, this was so worth the wait. Like, we're always like, this was so worth the wait. You know, like, we may not see it now or then, but it's like, this was so worth the wait. You know? So, have you ever read Ben Stewart book, Ben Dating? Single, Dating, Engaged, Married? It's like the best
No,
book.
I've heard of it though.
It's so good. Like, I've read it like 3 times. I love it. It's so good. It's straight to the point. It's good. Okay. So, if you could give one piece of advice to couples trying to date in a way that honors God, what would it be?
Definitely set boundaries, like keep one.
Yeah.
And stick to them. And if you have trouble, like if you like catch yourself like slipping in the boundaries, just pray.
Yeah.
Or go for a walk.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like also to add to that boundaries part, y'all have to be on mutual agreements about those boundaries.
It can't just be like, I want this, so you have to apply to this.
Yeah.
It's like we both have to want this at the end of the day. And the same thing with like going to church. It's like
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, I don't want you to go to church for me, I want you to go for you too.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you need Jesus as much as I need Jesus.
That's good. Okay. Hebert, do you have any piece of advice?
You repeat the question.
So if you could give one piece of advice to couples that are trying to date God's way, what would it be?
Be each other's fire, because most likely if you're in a relationship, you're spending the most time with that person. So if you both don't have him in the middle of the relationship, then it's not going to go the way you want it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not going to go the way
Yeah.
you
So,
want it.
and it's basically like what you're saying is like, you have to both be running towards God. Like, it's not Kennedy running, Hebert staying. It's y'all are both running the way of God, and y'all are helping each other get farther and farther and farther, you know? So that's really good. Okay, my next question, to wrap it up, my last few questions. What habits or routines have strengthened your relationship over time? Like, I don't know, like prayer, Bible study, church, y'all's dating, like, what habits do y'all have?
You want it?
I feel like definitely church. I don't know what else we do.
Like, do y'all intentionally go on dates?
Yeah,
We try
we
to.
do. It's been,
It's been a little bit,
yeah,
but
it's
we
been a
try.
little bit,
But we definitely like church, and like Sunday is like our thing. Like every Sunday it's like, okay, we hang out after church and just like do whatever.
So making church like a habit, like it's a priority.
Yeah.
And I love that, because most people, it's like, we'll go to church when we feel like it.
Mhm.
Like,
And,
what? No.
And if I don't go, he still goes. Like he'll still go to my family.
I remember seeing you one time.
Yeah.
And that's like, I just love that, because that's just a true representation of, I'm not doing it for you, Kennedy, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for me. And so I just feel like so many people, it's like, I mean, we can go to church every now and then and still like both. No, that's not how it works.
No.
Like, I feel like you have to make God priority in your relationship, for your relationship.
And then we
to
go to
last.
like young adult things too, and that kind of helps because it's like we're talking to people our age that are
Yeah.
going through the same things as us and like are in the same seasons of life. So I like doing that too. It's fun. And we have life group. We each have our own life group. So like I have a girl one, he's a guy one.
My last question to wrap up the podcast. Y'all have been some amazing guests. I just love y'all and y'all's dating season, and I cannot wait for y'all's engaged season. I cannot wait for all God has for y'all. But what has taught y'all the most as being a couple, I guess?
I think just following God and his timing and not rushing everything. Because we are enjoying the dating season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I saw y'all go to concerts together, y'all travel together.
as we do everything together. That's my little built-in best friend.
yeah. I definitely think patience, I'm second what she says, because she struggles with the patience part of it, but that also brings it to me because I have to make sure that she stays patient and
Yeah.
keep her in check. you
Yeah.
know.
And then, I know I said last question, but I do have a question for you, Hebert. I'll have a question for each of y'all. So how do you maintain your godly man role? Wow. How do you just maintain being your godly man to your godly, I don't want to say wife, but godly
Yeah.
girlfriend? Like, how do you maintain that, I guess?
Just knowing that God put us together for a reason, and knowing our future, and that we will end up married, and that I will have to be the leader of our home,
Yeah.
to her, our kids, and be the light.
That's good.
So I use that as motivation.
That's good. Do you let like your friends? Do you have any? I'm sorry. I don't know if this is rude. Do you have any friends?
Any friends, like what you mean?
Like
just in general?
Like people you hang out with a lot, I guess I shall say. Like, do you let anyone dictate how you feel about her? Because I feel like so many people care so much about what other people think about their relationship that it's like, nah, like, you know?
Yeah, my friends aren't really like that. We all do our thing. None of us really judge each other because it's not good to judge.
Yeah.
We all just love each other at the end of the day.
That's good. Thanks, Hebert. Kennedy. So, how do you maintain being a woman of God in a world that's not popular, you know, and dating God's way?
I just focus on kind of what's best for us. Like, I'm not the leader of the household, but I can still do my part.
Yeah.
Because I will be the mother of the kids. So, do my part.
Yeah. So doing your part, being a Proverbs 31.
Yep, putting Proverbs in my woman.
Amen. Thank y'all so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This was so much fun. Y'all will definitely be back, probably 2025. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. This is like for the person, like dating God's way is like a perfect example, y'all. Like they've been dating for 3.5 years. They're still pure. Like they're still going to church every Sunday. They're still pursuing after God. So just your reminder to not settle for less than God's best for you.